Everyone, I am back to show you a project that I just finished. This is a Gypsy book that I've been working on, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out, so I wanted to share it with you. It has quite a few pages in it, so um, hopefully you can hang in there and get to the end of it with me. Let me get started because it's probably going to take me half an hour. Hope not, but anyway, let me start with the back. I wanted to show you this beautiful tapestry fabric that I used for the cover. I got this fabric at Hobby Lobby, and I just thought it was so gorgeous. And so I've used that on the back, and it actually on my monitor it looks like it's almost a cranberry, a dark red color, but it's actually not. It's actually more of a rust. It's closer to a rust color, I think, but it does have some hints of cranberry in it because this is a cranberry velvet trim and it goes with it really well. So I think it works just fine together. And it's got a lot of gold in it, as you can see, and hints of blue and some green in there. But I just love it. I thought it was so pretty. So I just only used it for the outside. And this book is pretty thick, so excuse all the moving, and it's a little bit hard to handle and film and hold because it's a little bit heavy. But I apologize for all the moving. And on the spine, I've got this beautiful cranberry and gold trim that I've used there. And then I've got this gorgeous piece that I've picked up somewhere in LA when I was living there. And I've used that across the top there. And then we're to the front now. And you can actually see the beautiful image of the gypsy lady with the tambourine. And I put the image on a small piece of the same tapestry and then put that piece on the front of the book. So you can actually see the raw edges of the piece that the image is on. And then I just embellished around it. I've got some leafing here and then some different trims on this side. And this gorgeous beaded piece right here, it's made with seed beads and a metallic thread, and it just kind of goes on down this way and ends down here. That I got from Donna Little. Thank you, Donna. And it was during one of her sales, and I wanted to show you quickly some of the other ones that I got from her. She sells these in groups of like 4 or 5 of them together, and so far I've ordered from her, I think 3 times maybe, and I've never had a repeat. They're always different. But this one has the silver threading, and it has black and white beads dangling here, and then the pretty shades of peach and orange in the center there. And then the other one that I have here has like a rose colored, pinky rose colored seed bead, and then again the silver threading, and then it's got this gorgeous peach. It's kind of, they're tiny little sequins, but they're just gorgeous pieces. So that's where I got those. So if you're looking for something like that, just watch for her sales because they do go fast. And then I have some dangling beads here, which came from grab bags that I bought from eBay. And I'll leave a link below to the shop where I got these. And then I've got a rolled flower here and a rosebud and some more rolled flowers here out of a velvet fabric. And then this gorgeous green lace here, which has the white seed beads or rice beads on there, came from the Gypsy kit that I got from Virginia. Thank you, Virginia. And there's so many things in this book that are from that Gypsy kit. It's like the kit that just keeps on giving. I have used it in so many different projects, and I still have quite a bit of stuff left from that kit. And then these beautiful pieces right here, which I'm using as leaves, came from Roseanne. Thank you, Roseanne. And then across the bottom, I've got this pretty little tassel trim, which was in the Gypsy kit. And then there are some beads that are dangling in here, which were a part of this beautiful trim. And then there's also coins that are kind of buried down in here. And I have those attached with some beads. And then I've got all this beautiful rope trim hanging. And this trim and this ball trim right here, these big puffy balls, were in my stash. I used to make throw pillows years ago, and this is some of the scraps left over from when I used to make pillows, and I just hung on to the stuff and not knowing what I would ever do with them. But you know, this stuff is kind of expensive, so you hate to just throw it away. So I'm so glad I kept it because I thought it just fit so well with this book. So I'm glad I was able to use it in this book. Okay, so that's the outside. Let's move on to the first page. Okay, and again, I'm so sorry for all the moving. All right, the first page, I have an image of a gypsy wagon. So you can see the steps that go up to the door there. And then the base of the page is made from two different fabrics. You can see this tapestry over here that has the cranberry and the brown in it. And then on this side, there's a dark chocolate velvet fabric, and you can see parts of it here and there. So that chocolate part goes down that way, and of course this one is on this side of the page. And then around the image, I've used some sequin trim. There's a few beads hanging there, a little bit of gimp trim. Across the bottom, I've got this beautiful eyelash trim that you can see kind of hanging here and there. And then this viney looking piece here and across the top came from a lady's dress. And then I've made some rolled flowers here. This piece and this piece came from the crocheted red dress that I got a while ago at the thrift store. This gorgeous piece was from one of the grab bags. And then I've made another flower. It's made out of a velvet fabric and also a sheer fabric in the center. And then these beautiful big pom-poms at the bottom were gifted to me by Renita. Thank you, Renita. I just love them, and they're in two different colors. They're very pretty. And then I think that's it for that page. Oh, there's a little bit of maroon curtain trim that's going down that side. Okay, the next page is the inside of the gypsy wagon, and this is like the sofa bed. You could see all the pillows there and a pretty lamp fixture, light fixture hanging up above there. And then I went around the image with this beaded piece was from one of the grab bags. There's a beautiful, it's a velvet ribbon that has flowers on it that's on that side. And across the top, I have some flowers that I've cut out of a lady's blouse that I found at the thrift store. And so were these pieces. They also came from a lady's blouse, and this piece here was a part of that. And then this beautiful piece was gifted to me by my friend Aljean. Thank you, Aljean. This came from a top. And this beautiful stuff, I call it stuff, but it's actually a wire, and it's coiled really, it's a fine wire, and it's coiled really tightly, and it's formed into these little tiny pieces. And it was all over the top. It was around the neck and the sleeves and also around the bottom, but I just thought it was a pretty piece, so I've added that there. And then I've got a couple of gathered flowers and some gathered fabric in between. I have a dangling bead here, a little red one, and then I've got another one here that's in a filigree bead cap. And then also hanging from that chain, I have a filigree with some feathers. And then I have some beads that I've strung and just attached them to the page right here. And they have little bead caps separating each one. And then this beautiful little applique piece was from Roseanne, and I've just added some sequins to it to give it a little sparkle. And then all this yummy stuff at the bottom, this fringe, was in the Gypsy kit. So I believe that is it for that page. Okay, the next page is done in oranges and rust and greens and a lovely image of a gypsy lady. And the base of the page is this tapestry fabric here. It's kind of a rust and has all this gold crisscross pattern on it. And then I've just added some gathered flowers and some velvet leaves, a beautiful rhinestone piece across the top, which was from the grab bags. I've got a beautiful ribbon trim here that has some embroidery stitching and beads on it. A couple of more little fiber trims. The dark green one underneath, the little pleated one, was in the Gypsy kit from Virginia. So were these little pom-poms. They were in the Gypsy kit. This applique piece and this beautiful fabric right here, and you can see a part of it here, was in one of the grab bags. And then I've just added a few more little flowers from fabrics I've made that were in my stash, and so were the leaves there. And across the bottom there are some dangling beads, and this was part of the Gypsy kit too. And I think, oh, there's a little mirror right there with something that I had on some ribbon that I already had in my stash. And then these gorgeous beads hanging here. This was also from one of the grab bags. Okay, the next page, I have the image, and it just says Gypsy Magic there, and it has the fabric that's on this page is kind of in a rust color, and you can see, can't see very much of the pattern that's on. You could see a little bit of the pattern here in the center of the page, but I've kind of covered it with some bead work that I did there, but you'll see it has some gold stitching through it. And then I've gone around the image with a couple of different fibers here, one in green and one in a rust. And then on this side, I've used lots of different fibers that are kind of hanging down here. And then I've got a ring trim, and there's beads hanging on this side. Across the top, I've made some flowers here, and I've just gathered some velvet fabric and stitched it in place, and then I've stitched some beads here and there all through it. And then across the bottom I've got a beautiful flower and just some pieces of some fabric that I already had in my stash. And this little ball fringe is also from my pillow making days, and so was this rope trim at the bottom. Now it's in two different colors. This was the original color. The darker one, I had colored them so that I would have some variation in the shades of green, because there's so many different shades of green on these pages. I just thought it was a better fit to have more than one shade of green down there. Okay, that's those pages. So the next page is done in purple and gold. And this is the only pocket page in the book. And let me take this out so you can actually see the page better. I love that tapestry, and so I didn't want to cover it, so I made the pocket out of a sheer gold fabric, and that way you can see pretty much the whole page there. And then I've just put this purple flower applique on there. I've printed the Gypsy, and then the word there, and then just framed it with a metal frame, and then it's got a little pretty variegated colored trim going around it. And then I've got a purple applique with a little purple flower there, and there's a little bit of bead work across the edge of the pocket, and then at the bottom there's beading and gold fringe. And let me put the book down so I can show you what I took out of the pocket. This is a tambourine that I made, and this fabric that I used to cover it with is something that I got from the Gypsy kit from Virginia. And as you can see, it's gold through the center, but it's brown on the edges. And it was made like that. It's a faux leather and it just has a worn look. So I thought it was perfect to use for the cover of the tambourine. And then to mimic the tambourine with the little metal symbols on the outside, I used jewelry bales. And let me show you what I used. I found these at Joann's. Sorry for that glare. I found them at Joann's, and they have they come in a round, or they also come in an oval shape, but it comes with this loop at the top, so that there we go. So that you know, you can hook it over your chain for your necklace or your bracelet or whatever you want to use it for. But if you just bend that back and forth, it pops off, and then you're just left with the round part. So the actual tambourine, I made it using the top from a paper mache box. So then I just cut little openings on, you know, all around, so that I could just push those in and glue them in place. So that's kind of how I did that. And then I just went around it with some different fibers. And then on the inside, I've just painted it, and then put that little tag in there that says Gypsy Soul. And I left the little hook part on this particular one so that I could tie the fibers and the bells and the coins, so that I could have a little bit of noise, you know, on my tambourine. So just in case you were interested, that's how I made the tambourine. Okay, the next page, another beautiful image of a lady with a guitar, and the base fabric is a purple crushed velvet, and I've just gone around it with some gold lace trim that I had here. I've made some gathered flowers there. This is another one of the beaded pieces from Donna. And then this gorgeous purple piece, I'm not sure where I got that. I just don't remember. And then I have this beautiful, like a brooch with a blue stone in the center. And then hanging from that, I've made a boho bead, and it's made from just ribbons and different fibers. And I have this flower-shaped bead hanging on the end. And then across the bottom, just lots of coins and beads and blue dangles. So that's pretty much that page, okay? The next page is done in the base fabric. On this page, I used the fabric that was on the tambourine is on this page. And it starts, you'll see here at the bottom, some of the gold with the brown in it. That goes across the bottom part. And then it changes from that faux leather into this, which has this beautiful blue velvet pattern. And it's actually kind of a teal color. Not teal, it's kind of a sagey green color that's in there. And then it changes from that into this brown, this dark brown. So that's all one piece of fabric, and that was in the Gypsy kit. So it's a gorgeous piece of fabric. I wished I could find more of it. And then I've just made some rolled roses in gold, and then that sagey kind of a green color. And I've got a little bead hanging with some little bit of bead work down the side there. And then there's a butterfly there and a few little flowers, and then a gorgeous ribbon that goes across the bottom that has embroidery stitching made out of made with metallic threads, and then there's beads and sequins in it. And then at the bottom I've got some brown tassels, which were from the pillow days. And then the next page, another beautiful image, and she's also holding a tambourine. And the fabric on this side of the page is in this brown and blue color. And then this side has this beautiful aqua blue color, which was from a pillow sham. And some of these fabrics you guys have probably seen before, because they are definitely repeats in some other projects that I've used. So also I've got a beautiful brooch here, and some dangling leaves that I attached to a chain. And then this gorgeous gold piece here came from a lady's cardigan. It was down the front of the cardigan. And then I've just got some pieces from some fabric that I already had in my stash there, a few more flowers. There's some beads hanging there, and then another gorgeous ribbon across the bottom, a ribbon trim that has sequins and rhinestones. And then I've got some gold loopy fringe at the bottom there. Okay, now we're getting to the last 2 pages. All right, here, this page, I can't really tell you what color this is because it's kind of an odd color. It's kind of a cross between a bronze and a gold, but it was a lady's skirt that I found at the thrift store when I lived in LA, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. It came with all of the sequins already on it, and it also had all of this bead work that goes across the bottom, and it's kind of hidden under there too. But it was a gorgeous skirt, and so I've used that for the base of the page. And then I printed this image of this gorgeous gypsy lady, and I printed it on fabric, and then I cut it out, and then I just sealed the edges with a little bit of glue so that it won't fray. And then I've gone across the top with a black applique. There's a black velvet flower there and a black lace here, a little bit of red sequin trim, and I've made some dangles to hang from it. There's a couple more flowers. It's a black one and then one in a kind of, it almost matches that same color. It's kind of a bronzy gold color. And then this beautiful black beaded applique piece here was from DC Scrappin' Rooster, which would be Neary. Thank you, Neary. And then this piece was in the Gypsy kit from Virginia. And then across the bottom, there's some red beads and some black dangling fringe there. So that's that page. Okay, the last page, we made it, we're getting there. Okay, the last page is another image of a lovely gypsy lady. She's holding a tambourine that has roses or flowers on it there. And then this is the base fabric of the page. You can see a little bit here and a little bit here. And then I went around her image with just a little bit of a maroon lace, and then the black trim on the side there was also from Neary. And then I've made a few flowers here. These two are kind of like a red lame type fabric, and then this one is done in a black velvet. This gorgeous sequin piece that's sparkling right here was gifted to me from Roseanne. Thank you, Roseanne. And I believe it was gifted to Roseanne from Judy Dominguez. And so thank you, both of you ladies, for sharing that with me. And then this black fabric that's kind of draped here on the side and across the top was actually a lady's negligee that I found at the thrift store. And it came with all of these little strands of sequins hanging on the thread. And I just thought it was beautiful. And it has this beautiful sequined lace part across the bottom. It's really gorgeous. And then underneath there, I've added one of those flowers that I got from the lady's crocheted dress that I got at the thrift store. And then there's more of the, oops, I'm out of camera here. There's more of the black velvet the black lace negligee over here. And then I've got red rolled flowers here, and there's a red applique flower underneath. There's one of those little mirrors in there. There's a little bit of this beautiful sequin piece that's right here at the top. And then another pretty brooch with some dangling beads on it. And then at the bottom, I've got some black lace and some red dangles down there. So I believe that pretty much covers it. So that is my book. Yay, I made it under half an hour. I'm so happy. Um, so that's my book. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. It was so much fun to make this book. I hated for it to end, but I have so much stuff left over still from that Gypsy kit that I got from Virginia and also from the grab bag. So I'm sure there will be more Gypsy books to come. Maybe I'll change it up and not do a Gypsy book and just do another book with just, lots of yummy colors in it. But I've got to put those things to use. I've got a lot of things that I need to use. So, but anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I made, and hope you're having a great day. Take care, everybody. Bye.